One F1 star could quit the sport in favor of tennis and may pose a threat to Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz. Aston Martin driver Lance Stroll is reportedly considering swapping Formula One for tennis, in what would be a major switch for the Canadian driver who has a unique relationship with his team. Stroll has struggled to match his teammate Fernando Alonso this season and is sat over 100 points behind the Spaniard, as he is said to be mulling over his future in motorsport. Stroll is the only driver on the grid without a traditional contract with his team, as his father Lawrence owns the Aston Martin F1 team and his son has a rolling contract instead of a fixed deal. Stroll SNR is a billionaire who made his fortune in fashion wear, who employed his son at Force India, which was then rebranded to Aston Martin in 2021. Stroll JNR is yet to finish higher than fourth this season, while Alonso had been battling at the top of the grid. And the Canadian is sat ninth in the standings, and questions have been raised over his future in the sport. There have even been rumors that he could take up tennis instead, possibly challenging the likes of Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz, having already proved he can compete at the highest level in one sport for 7 years. The race have claimed that although Stroll is lagging behind Alonso, due to the nature of his relationship to ownership, he is only likely to leave the team voluntarily despite being on a rolling contract with his dad's team. However, there are murmurs around the paddock that he is considering a sensational switch to tennis, which would open up the seat to one of his rivals. However, it is not seen that Stroll is keeping anyone off the grid who belongs in his seat, despite having the job security that so many of his fellow drivers can only dream of. Despite the suggestion that Stroll could quit F1 for tennis, he is at this weekend's Dutch Grand Prix despite concerns after he picked up an infection and was absent from media duties on Thursday. Lance is recovering from an infection and will therefore miss media duties today, a statement released by Aston Martin said. He is fit and well and will compete at this weekend's Dutch Grand Prix. He arrived at Zandvoort with a bandage on his neck. Should he leave F1 and try his hand at tennis, there would be one more open spot to compete for, though whether Stroll would quit mid-season or at the end of the year is unknown. The likes of Daniel Ricciardo, Alex Albon, Yuki Tsunoda and Oscar Piastri could all be in contention to replace him at Aston Martin and work alongside Alonso.